Hello dear students, greetings to all. This is the continuation of Mesopotamian civilization. In the last two classes we have seen the introduction of Mesopotamian civilization, the religious luminance of Mesopotamian civilization, the social classes, the three different classes in social life, the upper class, middle class and lower class. Then we had seen the occupation and the craft. Their main occupation was agriculture, then domestication of animals. And then we have seen the most important part of the Mesopotamian civilization, that is the code of law, Hammurabi's code of law. We have seen four important points. The first one is that it is around 282 laws in the code of law. And then we have seen that different punishments for different classes for the same crime. Then we have seen the main principle of a code of law, and that is the strong shall not injure the weak. And finally we have seen that the code also contained the rules about the family life, trading, treatment of workers, etc. So those are the things which we have seen in the previous classes. And today we are going to finish this Mesopotamian civilization, and thereafter we will begin the Egyptian civilization in the next class. And today we will be discussing about the system of writing and the growth of knowledge. So just only one point or the 2 points: system of writing and the growth of knowledge. First of all, let us look at the system of writing. We have seen that in the Harappan civilization they were using the pictographic scriptures, and it was not clearly interpreted. Even now it remains as a mystery. The scientists, the scholars, or the archaeologists are unable to interpret the pictographic scripts of Indus Valley civilization. But it is not the same like for the Mesopotamian civilization. They could understand, they could interpret the Mesopotamian writing. The archaeologists, the scholars were able to interpret the Mesopotamian style of writing. Let us see how they have used the system of writing. The Mesopotamians were the first to develop the art of writing in the world. So we have seen that the Mesopotamian civilization started around 5000 BC, and they have started the writing, the style of writing or the art of writing somewhere around 4000 BC. That means around after 1000 BC they have started writing, and first by drawing pictures. So the same as the Indus Valley civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization also, the people of Mesopotamia were also started to draw the pictures to write the scripts. And also the same as Indus Valley civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization also used the clay tablets. They used the clay, and then they have written the things on the clay, and they baked it or dried it under the sun. So let us see, they wrote on tablets of clay with the help of a reed or bone. So they have used the sharp-edged bone, or sometimes they have used the straws of the plants. That means something like a bamboo stick or something they have used to write on this clay. And it had a wood-shaped point. For this reason their script came to be known as Cuneiform Script. So they have used the sharp-edged straws or bones, and it was in the shape of a wedge-shaped. The wedge-shaped means one side it will be thicker, the other side it will be pointed, something like spears or something like that. You can just search in the net about the wedge-shaped, then you will get the clarity for that shape. And then they have used it to write the scripts, and it is because of this reason they have used the wedge-shaped point. These scripts are known as Cuneiform Script, and they wrote with a sharp pen called stylus. Dear students, in our school also for the smart board also we are using one pen which is called as stylus. So in the Mesopotamian civilization also they have used the sharp-edged or the sharp-pointed pens, and that is maybe a bamboo stick, that can be a bone, or anything it can be, and it was called stylus. They had developed 350 signs. They wrote from right to left. So how do we write? We write from the left to right. We read from the left to right. But the Mesopotamian civilization, they have written from the right to left, and it is something like the Urdu language. And after writing on clay tablets, they were dried in the sun or even baked in the fire. These can be seen in London Museum, and it was interpreted by, or it was explained by many scholars. So dear students, in the system of writing, when we look at the brief of system of writing, we have to say that they were good in, they were the first to develop the art of writing, and it started around 4000 BC. And they have used the reed or bones to write, and these things, and it was called as a stylus. Because of the wedge-shaped point of their pen, the script is called as a Cuneiform Script. And they have written on the clay tablets, and either they have dried it under the sun or they have baked it. And many clay tablets were found from the Mesopotamian civilization, and most of these clay tablets are found in the, or it is kept in the London Museum, and many scholars interpreted it. Now let us talk about the growth of knowledge. The Mesopotamians made a great contribution in the growth of knowledge. Thousands of clay tablets have been dug out from under the earth. So dear students, we have seen that at the beginning the Mesopotamian civilization was dominated by religion, and they had many cities, and in all the cities they had temples, and these temples were not only for worshipping but also it is for the education. So they had given more importance to the education and knowledge also. And there was a place called Tello in Samaria, and there was a big library having more than 30,000 tablets which found from the Mesopotamian area. The Tello library was perhaps the first library of the world. So Tello library is the first library of the world, and it is situated in the Samaria. And there we will get around, or they have around 30,000 clay tablets which they found from the Mesopotamian civilization. And from these tablets we will get to know that the Mesopotamians were interested in literature, especially stories, poems, hymns and epics. So dear students, when we talk about the growth of knowledge, thousands of clay tablets have been dug out from under the earth. And there was a library called Tello in Samaria, and there we will get around 30,000 tablets in that library. And from these clay tablets we will get to know that the Mesopotamians were interested in literature. They have written poems, stories, hymns, epics, etc. The Epic of Gilgamesh is world famous. Epic of Gilgamesh. Gilgamesh is one of the kings of Mesopotamia. That you can see the picture of Gilgamesh in page number 32. And the next thing is that the Mesopotamians had interest in mathematics as well. So the first one is the literature. They have written poems, stories, hymns, epics, etc. And the next one is about the mathematics. The Mesopotamians had interest in mathematics as well. 60 was an important number in their numerals. So they had given an importance to the number 60. So that's why their system of counting was known as sexagesimal. Dear students, you can just search about sexagesimal in the Wikipedia. You will get more knowledge about that one. It's a system of counting, or that is used in the mathematics. Even now some of the Middle East countries are using this system, and it is based on the 60, the number 60. It gives more importance to the 60. That is why it is known as sexagesimal. For example, even now we are measuring the time on the basis of 60 minutes as considered as 1 hour. So Mesopotamians used 60 as a base for their mathematical calculations and all. That is why it is called a sexagesimal. And in many places it is even now it is used. Sometimes it is used to measure the time, angles, geographical coordinates, etc. So that is called sexagesimal. And the next point is that the Mesopotamians were quite good in astronomy too. There was an observatory almost in every city. From there they studied the planets and stars and gave names to these. So we have seen at the beginning of this Mesopotamian civilization, their Mesopotamian civilization was dominated by religion, and every city they had temples and they had an observatory also, and from there they have studied about the astronomy also. They have studied about the planets, stars, etc., and even they named to this. So dear students, when we brief this knowledge of growth of knowledge, the first point that we have to see is that they have given importance to the literature. They have written poems, hymns, epics. And the second point, and one more point you have to keep in mind, is the Epic of Gilgamesh is very famous. And second point is about the mathematics, and they have used sexagesimal, which means they have given importance, or the base of their mathematical calculations was 60. They have given importance to the number 60. And the third point is that they were quite good in astronomy. There was an observatory almost in every city. From there they studied about the planets, stars, and gave names to this. So dear students, 3 points we have studied when we talk about the growth of knowledge. First is literature, second is mathematics, third is astronomy. And also, as well as this one, the introduction for this one, also we have to keep in mind that thousands of clay tablets were found from under the earth, and 30,000 tablets were kept in the library at Tello in Samaria. And from these tablets we will came to know about this literature, mathematics, and astronomy and all. So that is what we have. So that is all about the Mesopotamian civilization. So dear students, when we study about the Mesopotamian civilization, you have to write its point wise. Then it will be easy for you to learn. So you have to underline, for example, when you talk about system of writing, then you have to write about the Cuneiform Script, and they have used the reed or bone. It is called as a stylus, and they have developed around 350 signs. Likewise, point wise you have to study. When we talk about the growth of knowledge, 3 points: literature, mathematics,